It's Mr. 6'8", back at you with a new video, and this video is basically me just sharing what a crazy weekend it has really been with my life and living with sickle cell. Like, I just feel like I can't win for losing at times. Like, it seems like that at times I think I'm on top of the world. I think I got my stuff together, and then boom, out of nowhere, I wake up and I'm in a whole different, complete body, like as if somebody just gave me their raggedy body and got rid of the body that I had the day before that was actually working correctly or working properly or not in pain. Things like that there. And so here we are. And come Thursday of last week, I was feeling a little bit lethargic. That Wednesday night before, I felt okay. No issues. I went to bed late. I couldn't sleep, but that's typically always it's a part of my insomnia, which I've developed as a result of being in hospitals all the time and not really getting much sleep because the nurse is always coming in checking your vitals. So I didn't think nothing else of it, but then I woke up, and mind you, we are now in the season of fall where the weather is shifting or has been transitioning from hot to cold, which is one of my triggers for sickle cell. And for those of you that don't know what sickle cell is, let me back up. So sickle cell is basically, a blood disorder in the body to where your body is not producing enough healthy red blood cells, and your blood cells are sickle shaped. And most of the times in your veins, your blood cells, they're pretty much the hemoglobin, the white cells. All of that there is not really producing enough oxygen into the bloodstream, which in results causes, chronic sickle cell crisis. So just that's really kind of the layman watered down version that I can give to you for it to make it make sense. So basically, your body is not getting enough oxygen in your bloodstream, and because of that, you got sickle cells, which these cells are actually shaped like crescent moons or have crescent moons, I think is what it's called, and they get clotted up in the veins, and it just causes painful crisis to where the blood flow is not flowing properly. And so here it is, fast forward Wednesday night, I felt okay. Thursday, I woke up. It was a little colder than normal. Once again, I told you we are in fall season, and I just could not get out of bed. It felt like as if somebody had just been dragging me all night long. Now, even though I did sleep, but I felt like I hadn't had no sleep. I had no energy. I couldn't move. My body was in pain. All of my muscles just completely just hurted so bad. And it just felt like I had no energy. And I was supposed to have work that day, but I couldn't because I just had no energy. And so all I could do was lay there. And so it took me until 5 p.m. my time, Eastern time, for me to get up and be able to move around and try to take a shower, put myself together and things. And even then, I think I maybe had been out running errands about maybe an hour or two, and I was back home, in the bed because I had to get up the next day for hydration, which I do go for hydration treatments. And for those of you that may need a little bit intel on that, hydration is basically them giving you fluids into your body. I do have a port right here in case you haven't seen a port. A lot of people that take chemo radiation, that have cancer and things like that, they may have a port also. But for us sickle cellers, we also have a port. I've had mine for 10 years, I think, going on almost. I got it in 2014, so it's getting close to 10 years. I haven't had any issues with it, but the ports can sometimes become infected. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had that issue yet, or hopefully won't ever, because I don't plan on getting another one no time soon. Excuse me. So I woke up Thursday. That didn't go too well. I woke up Friday, got hydration, and after I got my fluids put in me, they did basically a bag of fluids and then a half a bag of fluids. And I forgot how many liters that equals in total, but I felt okay, and they gave me, some medicine to help with the inflammation in my joints and stuff like that. And after I got my little tune up there, I call it, I felt okay. And I, was able to move around and continue on with my day as normal. And then Saturday came and I just still felt horrible again. So it seemed like that for me, my triggers are when I go to bed and wake up, and depending on what's going on in the atmosphere as far as physical element outside, coldness wise or hotness wise, if the temp is fluctuating, it's not that I don't think my body is being triggered by coldness. I think it's just that my body doesn't like when it's hot and cold back and forth. And so after all of that, transpired, and me not, as far as being able to really do too much on Saturday, Sunday came and I just felt like I had been hit by a train, y'all. I mean, I felt terrible. It just seemed like that I was back at square one. Mind you, I had already received my hydration treatment, which I do every week, but I just felt terrible. And so now here we are, back again. And this time I decided to go to the ER. And the reason what prompted me to go to the ER is because when you deal with sickle cell, you kind of know when you need to go to the ER. If you see that you're not progressing, especially after if you may get hydration infusions like I do, or if time is progressing, and especially for me, with my situation, people don't realize that, me making a choice, because I've made a choice a couple of years back to go back to work. And the reason for that choice was because of the fact that I needed to be able to have a quality of life that I saw fit for myself. Yes, I'm thankful that I was able to be on disability and do all of that for 10 years or longer that I did. But at some point, all of that is not good enough. At least not if you're trying to accomplish certain things. I'm thankful, and for those that need it, that's great. But I felt like I could do more. Okay, and I'm not the one to just sit home and collect a check. So I felt like I could do more. So that's what I did, is I did more and I went back to work. So when you know that you're not getting better, excuse me, and you have to be at work continuously because it's still a company, they still have a business to run. You want to make sure that you're good when you are able to get better. And so Sunday was a day that I just figured, I said, okay, and I knew I was gonna work a little bit, but I was like, if I don't make it to work, that'll be 4 hours that I'm gonna miss. So I decided to go to the ER. And the craziest thing about it, y'all, was that I went to the ER. I didn't have to wait long, but then I got in the back, and it seemed like that the stuff that they was giving me, the meds, the fluids, stuff like that, none of that stuff helped at all. Like, I was still in pain. Like, I was okay maybe for a little bit after I left the ER, but on the way back home, I literally felt like I was going to pass out. Like, I felt dizzy, my vision was blurry. It just felt like I was going to pass out. Now, while I was at the ER, I did find out that my retic count, which the retic count in your blood is basically like it's the indication whether you're going through a really, really bad crisis or not so bad crisis. So my retic count from what it was normally, which is like a 4 point something, was now a 7.8, I think it was. And for me, that's high. Now, for some people that I know, that's not high at all. But for me, that is high. And so because of that, that could be an indication of why I feel so bad, because it's an indication that whatever is going on inside my bloodstream, inside of my body, is not regulating itself like it should. So my retic count was high. My platelets, which I've learned in the past year that if your platelet number is high, that could also be an indication as far as why you're having so much pain and you're not feeling well. So my blood platelet numbers were high and my retic count number was high. And so because of those numbers being high, basically I know as of right now I'm going through a crisis. Now, I also feel like that in between all of that, somewhere I have a sinus infection, hence the cough, because I have a lot of pressure in my face. At times when I cough, my chest pops. I know I don't have pneumonia. I did get tested for all of the other stuff as far as it's out there. That all of that was negative. So I know I don't have any flu and all of the other stuff that's going on out there in the world. But I know typically for me also another trigger is that if I come down with a sinus infection or any type of infection, I know right away because my body does not respond. It's like for me, a common cold for you, you may get over it 2 or 3 days. For me, it may take 2 weeks if I don't get on top of it. So they gave me some antibiotics, doxycycline. It's not something that I normally take for a cold, but we're going to see how it transpires. I have to take it for 10 days. Normally, I prefer a Z-Pack, but a lot of doctors don't like giving Z-Pack. So that's that. So that's kind of where I stand at. I came back home. I started the doxycycline. I got some rest last night. I did not go to work once again. And I woke up today and I felt a little bit more better. I could tell that I was a little bit more energetic. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that my numbers are going down or trending downwards. I still feel at times like I was feeling okay later earlier when I was at work, but as the day progressed, I can tell that I'm starting to kind of feel a little bit back sick again, a little weak. So that's my indication that it's time to go lay down. But I wanted to get on here and make this video to let people know and it's just spread awareness about sickle cell because I understand it's a minority, mainly or mostly a minority disease of Black African American people. And I say that because there are some, as far as people of other ethnicity, I think is what you call it, who also have sickle cell. Very few, far and rare and in between, but it's mainly a Black, situation as far as African American that occurs amongst minority in our community. And because of that, people overlook it. People think that we just are people who just all we want is meds, pain meds, or we just, are seeking whatever the case. People think that what we go through is not real. People, they don't understand us because we can be here talking to you like I am talking to you. I think we're back. Sorry about that, y'all. My camera died. But as I was saying, so people could be talking to you like I'm talking to you on this camera, but on the inside, we could be going through something completely just out of this world and you would never know it. And that's because we've become so accustomed to our suffering and always having to be strong that we have a high tolerance for pain. We have a high tolerance for not feeling good. It just becomes a part of our norm. Imagine going through life on a daily basis and you don't know what kind of state that you're going to wake up in physically, and that's what we go through a lot. Is we don't never know what the next day is going to bring. Like, it's very hard for me as a person to plan anything because I don't know if by Friday, if I plan it Monday, that I'm gonna be good, or if I plan it 2 months in advance, I don't know if I won't be in the hospital. Like, I don't know these things, and that is what is so frustrating because it's not that you are a lazy person that just want to be in bed all the time. Sometimes it's just simply because you don't have the energy to do anything but just be still, and people don't understand that. They think that, oh, well, you was good yesterday or you was just good 2 hours ago. Why you're not feeling better now? But that's because it's called a chronic illness. It's not a illness that you just treat and it just permanently goes away. It's something you have to live with, like you live with any other chronic illness out there, such as cancer, or if you have stuff like HIV and stuff like that, which is a whole nother, myth and everything that I kind of want to debunk because people think, oh, well, you're losing weight. Why are you in the hospital all the time? Especially me as a Black gay man. You must sit here and got so-and-so X, Y, and Z. And even though I don't have no issues with anybody who may, as far as be positive and stuff like that, but as far as myself, no, I'm not positive. It's not that I have something from being reckless or sleeping around or somebody gave me something or I contracted something. It's just that at periods of times, yeah, I may lose weight because I'm not hungry because of meds that I take, or I'm not hungry because I'm not feeling well, or I'm in the hospital, or I'm just stressed out. Sickle cell has no discrimination. Like, it will take the living life out of you, okay? And at times, it's going to take you through changes physically in your body. You're not going to look the same all the time. You're not going to feel the same all the time. Okay? Nothing is ever consistent with sickle cell. Okay? You just have to learn how to dance to the music and roll to the punches. So when people think that, oh, because you're sick all the time, and especially if you're gay and you're sick, that is automatically an assumption that you have something else. That's not true. It's just that maybe you don't know what that person is going through. Just like when people judged Chad Boseman, I think his name is, if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, of Black Panther. They saw him lost weight. They didn't know what he was going through. They made jokes and then found out at the end what the man was going through the whole time and wanted to feel sorry after the fact. But no, you should have sat here and been feeling sorry and showing empathy and being more sensitive while he was still alive here on the planet, rather than you turn around and joke the man while he was alive, but now you want to sit here and feel sorry for him now that he's gone on. Okay? That's not how life works. We don't never know what a person is going through from one day to the next. Okay? And sometimes you just have to learn how to love that person where they are at. Okay? And just be there for them. Okay? And like I said, I deal with insecurities. I'm 6'8". Yeah, I know when I lose weight, it shows a lot. I know when I gain weight, it probably doesn't show as much because that's a lot of hype to sit here and cover. But rest assured, be careful about how you perceive things in your thought process as your own reality, what you think to believe is to be true. And just learn to sit here and just pray. If that's your thing that you sit here and do, if between you and your God, pray about it, or just keep your mouth closed and say, you know what, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, I hope whatever he going through, that he gets through it, and that'll be good enough. So it's just, so many things that, comes with living with a chronic illness. And in my case with sickle cell, like I said, I'm 33 years old and I've been living with this. Excuse me, I've been living with this since birth. And like I said, every day is not going to be good. Every day is not going to be good. But you have to learn how to take the good with the bad and then just learn how to stick it out. There are so many things that I wish for my life that I didn't do in my 20s because I spent most of my 20s sick. Excuse me. And because of that, I missed out on a lot. At least I feel that way. And now in my 30s, I feel like I'm in this rush mode and I've had to learn how to tell myself to slow down because I'm always feeling like that I have to just do things at a rapid pace because I didn't do what I felt like a normal person should do in their 20s as far as, getting your career started, trying to figure out what you want to do in life. I feel like I'm just not at that point of trying to rebuild my life. I just got control of my life, I feel like, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So, yeah, I'm late at starting. And yeah, it does affect my mental process, but I still have to keep going. Do I always feel like keep going? Do I always want to keep going? No, but I have to learn how to keep going because I think about all of the people out there who I know, who I have lost, who also have had sickle cell, my brothers and sisters who have passed on, okay, who are no longer here, that lost the battle, okay? They lost the fight, okay? And I have to think about them because I know they will want me to keep going, okay? And I understand that even though they are no longer here, they didn't have a chance because it overtook them. But as long as I have living breath in my body, I'm going to continue on until whenever it's my due date, my expiration date. And when that time comes, which I don't know, but when that time does come, I want to be able to say, well done, I did my part. But until then, I got to keep going. It's the only thing I know how to do. Yeah, people, it may be hard to be in a relationship. It may be hard for other people to understand what I go through. People may not always feel as far as what they should feel in their heads because they may feel some kind of way because I can't make it to every single thing, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. But once again, I can only focus and control what I can control and just keep going, keep moving, and don't stop. So this main video is just to kind of, like I said, I told you all my YouTube channel is going to be very much everything about Mr. 6'8", but I also wanted to give you a glimpse into behind Mr. 6'8" and what goes on with Tristan as a person, okay? And to let people know that my life ain't perfect, but it's my life, and I gotta live it. And so, if you have any comments or you want to, talk about, as far as sickle cell, or you have things that you may say I always wondered about, definitely do. But one thing I will leave you with is that if you do plan on having kids, go and get genetic counseling with whoever you are having kids with, because back then when my mom and dad conceived me, I don't think genetic counseling was a big thing. And the reason why genetic counseling is so important is that it also helps you to identify if you or the other individual who you are intimate with have the sickle cell trait, because both of my parents have the trait. I have the entire chronic illness, sickle cell type SS. And so because I have the whole entire sickle cell type SS, if I have a child, I don't need to be with anybody who has a trait because I have the whole disease. But if somebody was to have the trait and another person have the trait and they come together, there's still a chance they could pass sickle cell on to their child because both parents have the trait. So understand that part of it as well, okay? And then make a conscious decision if you really want to have kids or go forward and take that chance. Sometimes the risk of it may be just greater as far as just to have that child to say that you was able to raise kids. And unfortunately, I don't have kids. Yeah, I do think about it a lot, but hey, there are other ways to have kids other than just biologically. So, that's that. And if it's not meant for me, it'll happen. But I'm going to just leave you with that. And like I said, just drop in the comments if you have any other questions. Until then, I love you all. Peace.